It's time for Cigar Talk, the fastest growing cigar show in the nation. Whether you're a new cigar enthusiast or a cigar aficionado, we have something for everyone, bringing you the best interviews, cigar reviews, and weekly giveaways. So grab yourself a cigar.
It's time to light them up.
Welcome back to Cigar Talk. I'm your host, Rob Jones. We have co-host Bryant Falconer in the studio. How you doing today, Bryant?
Hey, man, I'm doing good.
Good, man. It's good to have you back in the studio. You guys, man, last week we came in the studio and we tried to produce a show for 2 hours?
Then we had to turn into firemen.
Yeah. Dude, well, here's the deal. Our last soundboard blew up last week. And here's when I tell the story, I have to justify something right up front. I have to let everybody know this was not Bryant's fault.
Thank you.
Because when I tell the story, it almost sounds like I'm blaming you, but I'm not.
Because you always blame me.
No, I don't always blame you.
Bruh.
I usually blame you.
Usually,
I don't always.
So usually on your scale goes from anything up to 90%.
Yeah.
It's okay. I got you.
So, but no, here's what happened. We got done, and you hung your headphones on the boom arm, which is what we always do.
Yeah.
And so when I turned the board on last week, the back feed from the headphones to the mic started spinning out of control, and it went up super loud in the volume. And so I didn't know what was causing it, so I didn't turn the board off. And when I didn't turn the board off, what happened? Yeah, and then a big puff of smoke came out of our board. So we didn't know that would actually do that. So it was not Bryant's fault, and it wasn't my fault because I didn't know what it was.
As Fred Sanford said.
It was just one of those things, live and learn.
As Fred Sanford said, fried, died, and laid to the side.
Right. Yeah, it's right over there. Yep. He's gone to rest. So anyway, guys, we got a big show coming up today. We actually have a couple of different guests going to join us today. We have Oswald from OM Cigars. I'm a big fan of his cigars.
Yes.
And then we've got Arron and Mark over from the Straight Cut podcast.
Yes.
They're going to join us. We're a big fan of their show.
Yes.
So we're going to have them on and talk about what it's like to do a cigar podcast and, just the weekly grind of getting it out.
Because it is a grind.
And it is. And, it's something that we enjoy. Yeah. We love doing it. We feel like, we are giving back to the community, and we hope you guys enjoy it.
Yeah, when you find something you love, you never work a day in your life. That's what I was told.
It's true.
Yep.
Now, you do work some nights.
Some long nights.
So, anyway, let's talk about what we're smoking.
Yes, sir.
What are you smoking?
I'm smoking the Renegade 8 from the Cigar Pack.
The Cigar Pack. So that's something that's definitely going to need to be talked about.
Oh, yes.
So you guys, we've had a few things change, and I'm not going to get into all that, but we've put the show pack on hold.
Yes.
And I'm working on what it's going to take to get it back up and running. And so right now, of course, Bryant's smoking one of the cigars from the show pack. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. When Bryant showed up, I asked him what he's smoking, and he said, "What do you want to smoke?" And I said, "It's up to you."
And there's a reason why.
He's like, "Well, show me the 4-pack and show me what I can smoke." And so he asked me what I wanted to smoke, and I said, "Well, I smoked all 4 cigars already, so I don't have a show pack cigar." So Brian's smoking a Renegade, and I'm actually smoking a flat iron from Martinez.
Yes.
You've been smoking some of those Martinez I gave you?
Bro, I smoked one on the way.
Dude, let me tell you, Martinez is knocking it out of the park.
They are making themselves known.
Yeah.
They are making themselves known.
You know what I like about it? I feel like we're getting to smoke cigars that nobody knows about.
And there are people that don't.
Right.
And they're like, "Oh, Martinez, where would I find that?" Hey, they are there. Just ask your shop. If your shop doesn't have them, go online.
Yeah.
That's my thing.
And the thing about it is we did an interview with Martinez a few weeks ago. So if you go back and look for the episode with Jesus in it, down below that episode, there is a link to the Martinez Cigar website. But yeah, I've actually been in communication with them. They've just basically getting back ramped up.
I saw that
because of the COVID,
I saw a lot of those plantations, as you want to call them, plantations in Nicaragua and Dominican Republic are starting to ramping back up, getting back into that production because, man, we missed them.
Right. Yeah.
I promise you, I did. I missed them. So, it's a hands off, not hands off, hats off to those companies, those families that had to endure also, but they're getting their feet back, and they're getting back out there, and they're working it because they know they have people that are missing them.
Yeah. And I tell you what, man, regardless of what you think, it is good for me to see people.
Oh, yes.
Saturday, where were you at Saturday? That was yesterday. Where were you at?
First of all, I woke up. My days are jumbled. I woke up thinking I had to go to work. I got mad at my phone.
Did you get up early?
Yeah, I got mad at my phone because it goes off at 6:30. Monday through Friday it goes off at 6:30. So when I got up and I looked at it, it's 7 o'clock. I said, "Man, why did my phone go off?" Then I looked and it said Saturday. I said, "Oh, it's Saturday."
Let me tell you.
I'm like, dog.
I got up today at 7:30, and then I realized that it was 7:30, and I went back to bed and didn't get up till 9:30, and it was nice because I get tired of getting up at 5:30.
Oh man.
So anyway,
What happened Saturday?
Saturday, Ed came over.
Okay.
And Paul came over.
Cool. Man,
And
I ain't seen Paul since
I know.
the Super Bowl.
Right.
I just had to think back. I was like, that was that Sunday
Now,
before I had the surgery that next day.
Now, I did see Paul at the Micallef event over, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. I did see Paul then.
Okay.
But that was the first time that we ever were able to hang out and smoke a cigar. And so it was cool because I made a pot of coffee. Speaking of coffee, it was Moose Mountain Goods
Yes,
coffee.
sir.
And you know what? We got to hang out, and I sat over there. Ed sat over here, and Paul sat over here. So
So
we
y'all
were
had to
still
sit 6
social
feet.
distancing, yeah. The funny thing about when you go to a cigar lounge, most people social distance just naturally
Yeah.
because it's all guys, and we're not all sitting all up on each other.
It's that etiquette. You
Yeah.
know, we share the same etiquette in the restroom. Don't stand next to me.
Right, right.
give me 6 feet of room.
Give me my space. So anyway, we had a great time. It was good to kind of feel that lounge experience
Yes,
again.
yes.
So that was pretty cool.
I didn't get a call.
Crickets. Let me tell you what. It was
Yes, sir.
not planned.
I understand.
It wasn't planned.
I
And
understand.
but you know what we need to do is next Saturday, if it works out, you come over and let's get Larry over.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to get Larry over forever.
I'm gonna call him as soon as we get done.
See if he can. See if he can do. You know what I mean? Now he told me he was going out of town soon, so I don't know when he's going out of town. But if he's not going to be out of town, let's have him over
Gotcha.
and let's smoke a couple of
Most
sticks and
definitely.
drink coffee
Most definitely, man.
or drink whatever. 'Cause
Whatever.
Larry.
Yeah, it's whatever.
Right. So anyway, let's get to our pick 6 this week.
Yes,
sir. You want to go first? You want
I'll
me
go
to?
first.
Okay. I got 3 sticks that I love this week, but
Me
go
too.
ahead. Go ahead.
First one was the 601 Habano.
Nice. Cannot go wrong with
No, sir.
that.
No,
I'm
sir.
a big fan of Espinosa.
Oh,
And that 601 line
oh,
is knocking it out of the park.
man. I love the names that they gave him, the napalm, you know. Each name identifies that stick because you see that name, you're like, okay, is that what I'm going to get? And then when you get it, you start smoking it, you start tasting it, you start feeling, you're like, yep, this is napalm. Yep, this is Habano. Yep, I love this, man. That Habano hit perfectly last week. Perfect.
Nice.
The second one was an Alec Bradley Mundial.
Oh, wow.
That was a gift.
I don't think I've had that
That
one.
was a gift. I got one. I think I got one more. If I got one more, I'm gonna give it to you.
Was it good?
Oh, bruh, it's on the list.
Okay.
If it's not good, it's
Now
not gonna make my list.
You know that we need to have your top 10 and my top 10 done by the end of the month
Okay.
because we're doing the top 20.
Yes. Yes.
So we'll be doing our top 20 before the end of the month. You're
And
not
I'll
going to
have
want to
that
miss
for you.
that.
I have it for you.
Because I got some sticks that will knock your socks off.
got you, bruh. My last one was a Don Pepin Garcia original.
Now, I could be wrong, but I think it's Don Pepin.
Pepin.
Not,
Pepin.
not Pepin.
I'm from the hood. Pepin.
You're thinking of Scottie Pippen.
I'm from Illinois too. So.
Right. So those are all good sticks.
Pepin.
I haven't had the Alec Bradley. I'll
I
check
thought
that
he
out.
get because I shout out to Shoot, man. He hooked me up with those sticks. I think he gave me 2 of them. If I got that other one, I'm gonna give it to you.
Oh,
I'm gonna
nice.
get you find out about
Thank
it.
you. So this week, I've done a little traveling, but I went by Jerry's Smoke Shop on Treadaway. Have you been by there?
Hold up.
Go ahead.
What did you get from Jerry? Because when you say Jerry's Smoke Shop, all I think of Phillies and White Owls.
Right. Well, I went in there about 4 years ago, and they actually had the Psycho cigar. You remember the Psycho?
Yeah.
And I was thinking, you know what? I wonder if they still have those. So I went over there, and they don't have a big cigar selection, but they do have probably about 14 different cigars.
Okay.
And you know what I found?
What?
A Connecticut Aladino.
At Jerry's?
At Jerry's. Dude, I was like, I walked
What time he closed it?
I don't know, right? Dude.
At Jerry's?
Yes.
That's a diamond in the rough, bro.
I know, man.
It's like sticking your hand in some cow manure and pulling it down.
You know,
Like how?
When you find like that treasure
Yes.
stick. When I went in there, I was looking for the Psycho. And I looked around, and it was like, okay, there's Macanudo, there's Romeo and Julieta, there's Monte Cristo. And, I was like, and then I was like, holy crap, is that an Aladino? And the girl working there was like, oh, and we also have the Macanudo, and we also have, and I was like, no.
Aladino.
You got the Aladino.
That's the I want to talk about.
Right. So anyway, I picked up a couple of those. And then I went over to Big Springs this week.
Yeah, I saw that.
To the train car.
Uh-huh.
And, he carries the Aladino.
Yes.
So, on my list this week, first is the Connecticut Aladino. Great stick. I think it's about an $8 stick. If you get a chance, go by the Jerry's and pick a couple up. And I tell you that, I want to say there was probably only about 6 when I left.
You left all 6 of them?
No. When I left, there was about 6. Okay. So I plan on going by and picking up a couple of more because it was really good.
Yes.
And then now here's number 2.
Okay.
The Aladino Corojo Reserva. The Aladino Corojo Reserva.
Dude. Trying to set the bar too high for me. I'm glad I went first. I'm glad I went first.
Let me tell you, over at the train car, they carry Aladino.
Yeah.
And anyway, they had the Corojo Reserva. Have you had the Corojo Reserva?
I've heard of it.
Okay. Great.
That's what I've heard.
Dude. Now, I was
Did you bring another one?
I did. I brought 2. And I smoked the other one last night. I was going to save you one, but we had a herf last night.
You got 9 million other sticks in there, bruh.
I really don't. But anyway, so wait a minute. We're not done yet. So for my number 3, I had the Aladino Cameroon. The Cameroon. So
you just went Aladino crazy.
Dude, have you had, well, I know you haven't had the Cameroon, but I will tell you this. I have a couple of Cameroons coming my way.
Okay.
When they get here, one's got your name on it.
Let me know when they get here so I can make sure.
You better get over here quick.
Yeah. So they just when they arrive, let me know so I can walk in there.
You'll need to get over here quick.
Yeah, I will leave work. I'm going to lunch early. I have something to pick up.
Right.
So don't it'll
dude, let me tell you what. Well, you've seen my Instagram.
Most definitely.
It's been Aladino crazy.
It's
wondering. Like that. Well, what I haven't got my hands on though is more Aladino Maduros, and that stick blew me away. The Corojo blew me away, and the Cameroon blew me away. Now the Connecticut, it's a perfect cigar, and I'll tell you this: I even sent Justo a message. And I said, dude, you have possibly the best rollers in the industry. And you know what he said?
What's that?
That's because my dad walks or goes around the facility.
Making sure.
He's a perfectionist.
QC, quality, baby. That quality check.
Yeah, it was something. So anyway, that's my 3 for the week.
I'm glad I went first.
Well,
anyway.
I'm going to hook you up when I get my next package.
Got you.
So anyway, hey, let's talk about Micallef for just a minute. They're 100%. Our sponsors on the show. We really appreciate those 100%. Guys. And let me just tell you, what I wrote on my board is Micallef makes a great cigar.
That's all we got to say.
Well, let me tell you what. On the herf last night that I had, I think we had probably 15 people show up. And I think 4 of the people besides myself were smoking either the Medallia, the Sumatra, the Modafina, and then what was William smoking? William, Bill White?
Yeah.
He was smoking Medallia, and I don't remember which one he was smoking, but I was like, think about this. 4 out of 15 people smoking Micallef. That tells you something. Mm-hmm. So anyway,
it's a quality stick. Man.
Yeah. So if you guys haven't tried the Micallef, you definitely want to check them out. There's a link on our website to become an ambassador for them. You can always go by and become an ambassador for the Micallef brand as well.
And there's a stick named after us.
Yeah, the A. The A.
The A.
You smoke any more of those I gave you, or
Almost
did you put
definitely.
those in the bottom of your humidor?
There are enough that are in the bottom that I will forget about, and they will rest. Also, I got to talk about this. Jay hooked me up with a humidor treasure.
What's that?
I'll let you know next week because I'm going to smoke them.
Hey, well, I tell you what,
They
I
have
got.
been there for years.
Oh, nice. Oh, whoa. Was that the. No. Wait a minute. Was this the. Who was that? Was that the AF? Who was it?
I'm not going to tell you. It's going to be on my list.
Because let me. Okay. It's not going to be. You're going to have it on your list. All right, I'll let you keep it. So anyway, guys, we got Oswald coming up next from OM Cigars. You haven't checked them out? They're going to be on our website this week. You can go by and check out their link, and then we'll have a quick break, and then we'll have Arron and Mark from the Straight Cut. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Dude, I love San Andreas wrappers, and that box press. Dude, you made a special cigar. Let me tell you, man. I've been telling a lot of people about it, dude. That is a great stick.
I had it in my mind for a while. I mean, growing up in Union City, New Jersey, where there was many cigar rollers, and I mean, I guess you can consider yourself big time if you hold your storefront and living in your house.
Yeah.
And you were on a corner property, but look past it, the register, the counter, and then behind the counter, which is only about 200 square feet, grab your cigars and go. There was never any lounges or any fancy leather chairs unless you went into New York.
I got you.
To places like the Carnegie Club and stuff like that. But, they use a lot of a leaf that they call piloto cubano, which translates in English to Cuban pilot. And if you've never had that, I can tell you probably had a Partagas Black, which is 99% of it, except for its Connecticut leaf.
Okay.
Wrapper.
Yeah, I've had the Partagas Black many times.
So you can identify it quickly because it has anise, which is a liquor. Anise comes in two. It either comes in a sweet or a sour. Or if you've never had that type of liquor, you can probably identify it. It's a little bit of a licorice taste. So those were the expensive maduros that you would get.
Okay.
Now, what happened is that sometimes under conditions of cold weather, you can crack the wrapper. Well, there was also 5-packs that they would sell at the grocery store of Te Amo. So at a very young age, where I'm talking about, where you were already known in school in the 5th grade, and maybe even in the 4th grade, as covering others' books. Well, I already knew how to take a napkin, wet a cigar, and with a cutter, cut the edge off the shoulder, and then remove the wet napkin from the cigar and peel the wrapper off of it to use it on another cigar.
Oh.
So I had already done that with these Te Amo cigars because Te Amo was basically an entire 99% Mexican San Andreas. You can get a 5-pack of them. They're considered like the taxi cab cigar. They were available in every grocery store. And it's what people smoked every day. But they had their good ones that they brought from the cigar shop. Well, I would repair them for my mother. So that blend I had already done, which was covering a Cuban Pilot with a San Andreas wrapper.
Wow. Well, I'll tell you what, I stumbled upon the San Andreas wrapper probably about 18 months ago. And, it's really not one of those wrappers or tobacco that is mainstream. And it's like when you come across that and you discover it, it's like, wow, man, that thing has got some flavors.
I prefer it over the Connecticut broadleaf. And, am thinking if there's a next version that I'm going to do, which is I'm at 4 now. If there's a number 5, I got my eye on either Connecticut, a Honduran or an Ecuadorian. Connecticut that has tooth on it, and it's golden. It's like something you've never seen before.
Yeah, I tell you what, that number 4, man, I love the toothy wrapper on that. And I mean, it's just beautiful. And I got to give you props for a really nice looking band. That band you designed, or whoever designed it for you, knocked it out of the park as well, brother.
Isn't that simple?
Yeah, I really like it. I mean, simplicity, and it's not overdone. And, you know, people who listen to Cigar Talk know that one of my biggest pet peeves is whenever a cigar has like 2 or 3 bands on it, and it's like, I don't want to unwrap it from the bands. I just want to smoke it.
Yeah, I hear what you mean. I've got plenty of pet peeves too. I don't think that I can, want to chase the rabbit hole, down that rabbit hole, and use this intermission for your listeners,
right?
For my own, psychiatric development. But no ninjas, no Smurfs, and nobody riding a motorcycle with cornrows on his head.
Hey, well, let introduce yourself to everybody so everybody knows who we have on the show today.
Yeah, my name is Osvaldo Morales, and I'm from New Jersey.
You're originally from New Jersey.
Brand.
Nice.
I was born in Miami in a Jewish hospital.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So how'd you make the way up to New York or New Jersey?
My parents, they went to Miami, and they just came back up to New York. And that's originally when my mother came from Cuba. I believe it was 63 or 64. Possibly could have even been 62. I have to look at the records. My mother came straight to New York.
Okay. And let me ask you this. What year were you born? How old are you?
I think I'm 45 or 46. I stopped counting the candles, man.
I hear you, man.
75 I was born.
I started long. Well, you're about 6 years older than me. I was born in 69. So you remember a little bit about the 70s. And so, that era is special to me. And I mean, think about when you were, becoming a teenager back in the 80s and then going into the 90s, man, that's when the cigar boom really hit. So was that inspirational to you to get into the cigar industry? Were you a fan of cigars back in those days?
Yeah, I'm gonna answer that. I just wanted to correct something that my mother came in 62 or 63. I was born in 75.
Oh, okay.
And the 80s was right around that time where I was allowed to go and play outside unsupervised. So at around 5 years old, you can go to the neighborhood and do, pretty much take it around the block if you wanted to, so long as you got back in before it was dark.
Right.
And the 80s was, listen, the only difference that I got to see was in my neighborhood, you just got to see more people that didn't speak Spanish.
Oh, really?
And they were kind of like tourists.
Oh, wow.
But educated. They knew where to get their stuff, and nothing had bands on it. It was a blend. You walked into a shop and you asked for something, and they can tailor it for you.
Oh, wow.
So I don't understand where this word boutique comes from. I guess it's supposed to mean, my understanding of boutique is when you walk into a tailor and he has your neck and your arm length on a card and he can tailor you a shirt. So if you walk into something that's boutique, you get something that's tailored for you. And that's what my experience with that word is. I don't understand how they use that now. I guess they're referring to people that are producing under 3,000 cigars a batch.
I'm not real sure what the number would be, but the way I see it is I like boutique, and I don't really do a lot of the big conglomerate cigar company cigars because they don't really pay attention to construction and the quality control like you guys that are making a smaller amount of cigars. Because, I mean, when you make cigars, you make every cigar as perfect as you can. And I mean, I know it's a hand-rolled product, and when you have, man making things that there's mistakes made, but the level of quality control that boutiques have versus a company that's making millions of cigars, they just lose the quality control in the big numbers. You guys focus because every cigar represents your name and your brand. So that's one of the reasons that I love boutique cigars, because you guys take such great care into making the best product possible.
Yeah. You know, the cigars are all made by women. You know, mostly the sorting, and even the rolling too. There's pairs that are married. But you know, there's what you can say is I guess I'm a little bit of a pest, you know, when I show up at the factory. Yeah. You know, and I you know, there's a machine that does air vacuuming for draws and stuff like that, and you know, I want to go play with the machine and do stuff like that, and they tell me not to leave that alone. So, a little bit of a pest.
They're like, get out of here, man. Let us do our job.
And that didn't take much. You know, look, you need luck, and you also need to know when to listen. And my idea was doing what I saw growing up. You know, whether it was in an apartment or it was in a storefront, you wet your wrappers, you had your binders, you had your fillers, you rolled them up. You tried to accomplish 300 a day with 2 pairs. If you had with a pair, with a single pair, with 2 pairs, you can produce 600 a day. And that's what I thought. I was going to grab ingredients, I was going to grab bales, and I was going to bring them back to New Jersey. And you know, I before I discovered the factory, I was turned on by a woman who used to roll for the Fuentes, and for many years, and then went on her own. And she's got a little, like, you can call it some type of a tropical lounge that's made up in Nahua off the coast. And if you're speeding more than 35 miles, you'll probably pass her. And there's only one sign that says cigars, but the sign is I mean, it's cattle ranch, and there's no arrow that tells you got to look for it across the street.
Right.
Yeah, I passed it twice, and then I insisted that, you know, we need to stop there. And I told her what I was thinking, and she said to me, "You're going to find it difficult to get the quality in construction from an employer over there than you are here. And the rollers over there, they're on set salaries, and some of them, you know, if not all of them, they're all, you know, veterans. And they have a special way of doing that in an into bottle where they sort of, it's like crushing together an accordion instead of wrapping in a big roll. So those take a little bit more time, and you can pack more tobacco in there. So I'm happy with the fact that, you know, I'm giving you the most tobacco for your dollar.
Yeah,
I'm happy with the fact that it's good quality stuff. So at number 4, you saw it pressed. You didn't find any soft spots on it.
No soft spots at all. It smokes solid. And you know what I loved about it, because of how much tobacco you pack into that cigar, the construction was so good. You know, some people put too much tobacco in there and then it has a tight draw, but yours was firm, but still had a great draw. And the burn, man, the burn was fantastic. The ash was just beautiful. So I was like, man, these guys, I mean, when you're smoking a cigar that the ash just stays, you know, packed. I mean, I thumped it a couple of times and it didn't even fall off after it was like 1.5 inches long. And I was like, that's good construction.
Yeah, that's also, you know, the levels in the soil. You know, you got good potassium and good calcium levels in the soil. When you burn the combustible, you're going to get what you witnessed.
Oh, no kidding.
And, you know, we chase a magical burn line. Listen, when you're being reviewed by any type of judge, they're going to judge you on appearance and construction, 1, 2, and 3, and then, you know, flavors, transitions. Those things you can't you can't pass them by a novice. They would count as, they'd be in there in the top 3 for priority of a reviewer. But the very, very end, it's at the discretion of the reviewer.
Sure,
you know, and it's what their palate can handle and what their palate is. We change. Some people, they used to smoke something, and they go on a long trip to the left, and they divert before they ever realize that they come right back to what they knew it was good and is consistently good. So I started naming these things Essential Blend.
Oh, very nice.
So that they weren't lost, and they were exactly the way that I remember them. And it's hilarious to me now that every other word out of their mouth now is essential, because that determines whether the state or believes whether you should be open for business or not. So that's the word that everybody uses now. Every other word out of their mouth is essential now. So that's completely coincidental and probably hilarious to me.
Okay. So, I smoke some of these like small boutique cigars on a regular basis, but when I come across cigars like yours, I consider it to be a hidden gem type cigar because, OM Cigars is not on the tip of every cigar smoker's mouth, their lips. A lot of people don't know about it. And I kind of compare it to like people who look for the best bourbons. And the thing about it is you're always on a hunt for the small batch that somebody made, and it's hard to find. And when you discover one, you get really excited about it. And that's the way I am with OM Cigars. You guys are like this hidden gem that a lot of cigar smokers would be like, man, I would love to find that cigar. So that's one of the reasons that we wanted to have you on the show, to have a platform that people can find your cigars, because when I find something that's special, I like to share it after I've had mine.
Yeah, no, and I agree with you, but you have to do something that you have to be able to back it up with good customer service. You have to the people they're not my customers, they're my friends. And I enjoy smoking with my friends and discussing what my ideas are. So their ideas are probably something that I may have overlooked, and I can experiment with. And it's important to make sure that the people that are not only not keeping you a secret and helping you to be in existence, to continue to get to know them on a first name basis and serve. You have to be able to serve them and make right by them. And I think that that's something that, like an oath, like a secret oath, that you would say to yourself, I'm always going to be humble. I am, this is not going to change me. If I get asked for an autograph or a picture, I'm not going to determine who's the person asking me for this. I'm just going to let it happen, and that determines, and it depends on the goals that you have, because if what you have is goals to just, get rich quick, find something else to do.
Yeah, you're in the wrong game if that's what you're looking for.
Yeah, this whole thing, it was mostly the completion of something that I've always wanted to do, and it was a cigar for my mother, Rob. And it's done. That was the number one. I got it out of the way. And the rest sort of falls into a category of whatever. But guess what? Whatever is what I haven't experienced in. And whatever might be something that you've never experienced. And that whatever, it's not a secret. It's essential.
Right.
And I think I'm doing it pretty good.
Well, let me tell everybody, if you haven't heard of OM Cigars, you owe it to yourself to go by their website. Their website is www.omcigars.com. Go by and check out all their different cigar line. These guys are making something special. And I mean, the presentation you guys have come up with, the colors, the bands is fantastic, beautiful sticks. And that the appearance is fantastic, but once you light up that stick and start smoking it, that's where the hidden gem comes in. And I'm telling you, you guys have gone up very high on my list, and we've actually got our top 20 coming out next month, and I wouldn't be surprised to see that your cigar makes that top 20, brother.
You know, it's not a secret. That's the part that we can celebrate. That we can celebrate that it's not a secret anymore. And then what's astonishing is that you think where you're from in New Jersey, they'd be the first ones to take you serious. And at this point, you know, it's coming from Texas first.
Oh, really?
And that was come on, Rob. You listen, Rob. You know, even in this radio business, you tell your friends you got an idea and you want to do it, and they and I'm telling this to your listeners. If you want something and you determine yourself to do it right, to be honest, to have morals, it will get done. But don't expect the ones closest to you to do anything but cheerlead for you from a very far distance with a pair of binoculars and wait till you trip. So it's, and I didn't think it was going to be like that, but it is like that. So well, Texas is the first to take me serious.
Hey, well, we're serious. We're serious cigar smokers down here, man. We know good quality cigars when we find them.
Oh, Rob, I'm finding it out. I'm seeing that there are guys in Dallas, there are guys in Austin, and there are guys outside of those places that they very much are in search of those gems.
Absolutely, man. So tell me about this. How long have you been in the cigar industry?
You're not going to believe it. I've been around cigars all my life.
All your life.
The idea of while being on vacation and bringing back a cigar for my mother turned into a tax identification, a trademark logo. It started to become a business. The answer to your question is June.
So you started in June of last year?
Yeah,
man, dude.
And that was bringing my ideas back in a suitcase without deciding. So I didn't even decide or approve till November. There wasn't even a band till January. So if you truly want to give it a date, you know, we'd say December 19th.
Wow. That's amazing, man. That is really amazing. Because, I mean, you know, you can tell that you have a history with cigars and experience because you didn't come out with your first cigars that were mediocre or pretty good. You came out with something that's special. So hats off to you for that.
It's like that movie, The Christmas Story. You keep asking that kid what he wants for Christmas, and he blurs it out. And everybody just tells him, yeah, shoot yourself in the eye. Well, I met the right person. He's responsible for the Big Papi. He's responsible for his Cimarron. He's running a sleeping giant right now in the Dominican Republic that you would think is, if you were standing in it, you would think that you were in a brokerage firm of tobacco.
Wow.
And when the other guys get in trouble and they run out, he saves the day. But it's only now, you know, he's been doing his own branding for the last decade, and he's quiet about it. But he's got a lot of private labels, a lot of predicate blends, and he heard what I said when they asked me what I want, and he never told me I would shoot myself in the eye.
Nice.
He wrote it down on a piece of paper. He translated it, and we got to work. And when most would quickly discover a picky, pesky person that knows too much for his own good, he found me to be a challenge.
That's perfect, man. That's awesome. So when was your first trip down to the DR?
First time ever was in June.
Wow. So you went down there with a mission and you met the guy and he was like, let's do it. Let's get it going.
Yeah. Yeah. I can, his name is Ram Rodriguez. He runs El Artista, and I can never forget to mention the person that pointed me in that direction, which is Vivian and Nawa, who had that history with the Fuentes, who's on her own. And she rolls her own cigars, and she's got her own blends and things like that. And you just you have to concentrate on one thing. And when you can concentrate and focus on one thing, and again, I want your listeners to know that anything it is that they determine, that anything it is that they want or they dream of, I want them to know that if they can touch it, it's real, and they can make it happen.
Amen, man. Amen. Here's what I say to people, because here's the words that got this show started. I was inspired by someone who basically said, get off your ass and get started, because as long as you have an idea, it's just an idea. But if you get off your ass and you get started, you're willing to put in the work, then you can make it happen. And it sounds like that's exactly what you've done.
Yeah, no, and in turn, once it's done, you've inspired others, haven't you? Because Al tells me you discovered him at Cigar Talk, the Good Cigar. He says you discovered him, and you basically gave him the same message. Pal, you're pretty good at this. Well, it turns out that he is.
Yeah, I'm really proud of what he's done over there at the Good Cigar. We're big fans of Al's, and we're big fans of his show. We're a big fan of his wife, too. She's the co-host. She does an amazing job. They're a great fit together, and so we're real happy to be associated with Al over there at the Good Cigar. They're doing good things. And we've talked about your cigar behind the scenes just between me and him, and we were both thoroughly impressed. So that says something about your cigar, brother.
I read the body language. If I would have been in that room like a little fly, I kind of would have wanted to see, at what point, the first third, the middle of the second third, at what point did you guys start staring at it and ask yourselves, what the hell is in this thing?
Well, I'll tell you, for me, it was about 3/4 into the first third. I was just like, wow, this is something special. Because, the first time I smoke a lot of boutique cigars, and, some of them are good. Some of them are, better than good. But yours was something that after about 3/4 of the way in on the first third, I was like, I kind of sat up and took notice. I was like, these guys are serious.
Okay. Now, that's exactly what my goal is. My goal is that to be taken serious, but it's very difficult. It's very difficult when you're the new guy, the young guy, or the guy that nobody's ever heard of.
True.
So the only factoring difference here is not that I've never been heard of, because I'm not going to be a secret anymore, but that opens the door to having the opportunity that when somebody lights that cigar, they know they got a surprise coming to them. Start taking notes.
Well, I think that you're going to be pretty well known here pretty shortly. What you're doing over there, making these cigars. I mean, just take a look at them, guys. If you go by his website and look at the different blends he has, when you look at the cigars, I mean, it's different. It's quality that you can see. They're beautiful, but then when you light it up, you're going to be in for a surprise. And I mean, you're going to know that you found something that you're going to want to keep finding until, I keep going back to them. I'll tell you that. You've seen me post them on Instagram, and I'm looking for my next one. I promise you that.
It's in the mail already. Rob, the one thing that I am not going to lose sight of, because everybody has something that drives them. And here's the thing that puts the oil in my gears. I myself have paid $14. I myself knew that I didn't like it at the second, third. But the worst part about the $14, and I didn't lose my 401k, I didn't lose my benefits. I lost $14, and I lost an hour and change of my time that I'll never get back is to get into the final third, and for the thing to turn into a truck and bomb out on you and look like something going down the highway blowing black diesel smoke.
Right.
That you have to toss it in the garbage because you can't even purge it. Now, all of them burn clean all the way to the end. I've reached that. I've accomplished that. And I've accomplished the next level, which is like taking good Italian food or good soul food, leaving it alone for a day, putting it away, and warming it back up on the next day.
When it's even better. Oh.
Can you remember it? And you ask yourself, how did this become better?
Took time.
Yeah. Some things, they marry themselves very well, and it's in those blends that are essential.
Well, and I can tell you this, just by looking at your website, what I love, you know what my favorite page on your website is Seed to Smoke. I mean, you can tell that you are very passionate about the entire process, because that page actually shows you pictures from planting the seeds all the way down to smoking the cigar. And that tells me everything I need to know about you right there, brother.
Robert, I'm not hiding anything from anybody. It's not, field day. These guys are coming in with cameras. I need everybody with matching polo shirts. This is what it is every day. And when you go through Seed to Smoke to those pictures, all of those women that you see on there, they're all veterans, and any one of those women could be your mother.
Wow. It's impressive, man. I mean, go by and look at the pictures on his website on the page for Seed to Smoke. It's really impressive. Shows you every aspect from seed to smoke. It's really amazing story.
Yeah, there's no frills there. There's no rehearsal or dress up for the camera. This is what it is every day, and it's what's appreciated.
Well, I tell you what, I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate what you've done. I appreciate the passion. I appreciate your entrepreneurship in getting this started. I think you're going to be very successful. I think that once people learn who you are and about your cigars, that they're going to become a big hit. And I can say right now that they're a hidden gem, but I don't expect it to stay hidden for very long.
Look, we all got fights. My fight right now and my goals are to deliver. And, delivering is important. And the only thing standing in the way of delivering right now is where I've been losing sleep with the FDA. And the good news is I've landed on the page where I have to be. I know where I have to file the tobacco product numbers, which are TP numbers. I'm waiting for them to get back to me with those numbers, and the good news is it doesn't look like I'm going to lose any other blends. In fact, I've reserved a few more.
Oh, very nice, man. Very nice. Well, hey, man, that's going to wrap it up for this interview. We want to say thank you for taking the time to come on the show and tell us your story. And as always, brother, if there's anything that Cigar Talk can do for you, if you need a hand, we're here for you, man. Feel free to reach out at any time.
Anything else, Rob, you want to ask me? It doesn't matter how embarrassing it is.
You know what? I don't have any embarrassing questions. I'm afraid to ask that because we kind of started and I couldn't hear you, and then all of a sudden I could hear you, and you're asking me if I like being tied up and that kind of thing. So I don't know if I want to ask you any embarrassing questions.
That's good. Cigar smoking is ceremonial. And the message here is there's time and sacrifice that goes into that finished product that the common consumer never gets to see. They're going to see it, a glimpse in the Seed to Smoke. But if you're trapped there doing it every day, you have to be passionate about it. And when you take a cigar and you start lighting 4,000-degree flames to it, whether it's mine or anybody else's, I ask people that that's the moment to consider the work that's gone into it and make it even, toast it, take your time with it, enjoy it. Get a burn line coming 2 millimeters off the edge. Make sure that you're straight and toasted, and then take your time to enjoy it. And that is really all I want for the reviewers to do. To give me a fair shot. They're going to see it.
Oh, I can't wait to hear some other feedback from people who've smoked your cigar, man. I think it's going to be pretty fantastic.
Thank you, Rob.
Well, hey, man, like I said, if you need anything from us, feel free to reach out at any time, brother. We'll be here for you, man.
Oh, well, my plans are, if this is the case and Texas is taking me serious, I'm on a road trip. So you know that I'll land over by you.
Hey, man, we want to see you come on down here to Texas. We'll hang out, smoke sticks, and let everybody know about them, man.
All right.
All right, brother. Well, have a good day, and we'll talk to you soon, man. If you enjoyed that interview with Oswald, man, that dude makes some great cigars. I hope that brick and mortars take notice and get his cigars into the shop. If you get the opportunity, you can go by his website. We'll have a link down below the show notes for him as well. And now we've got Mark and Arron from the Straight Cut coming up. And there's a little bit of animosity between my co-host and their host. He's been throwing out a lot of digs about a certain football team in red.
That was
not
last
his,
year.
not his.
That
So
last year.
now that was last year.
Last year. See, I'm not a Cowboy fan. I don't hold on to the
Hey,
past.
he's not a Cowboy fan either.
I know, but I don't hold on to the past.
You know,
I let it go.
here's my thing.
What's that?
You're champion until someone else is,
Hey,
right?
so they've been saying that for 20 years.
No. I'm saying with the Kansas City
I
Chiefs,
understand totally.
you're the champion until there's a new one.
I understand totally. I totally do. I do.
You know, they're for 14 months, 14 months. What? No. 24 months. The Cowboys could say that 30 years ago or however long it's been.
I just can't believe that there are actually strong Cowboy fans
Dude.
that are under 30.
What about under 25? I mean, you might not even know the Cowboys won a Super Bowl. If you're 25 years old, how would you know?
Definitely. The only way you can watch that is on an apparatus that was called a video cassette player.
Now, let me ask you this, though.
Uh-huh.
When is the last time the 49ers won a Super Bowl?
It was.
I didn't ask when the last time they were in one.
Oh, it was right before y'all won y'all last one because y'all stole Dion from us.
So it was in, I want to say, 92.
Yeah, y'all stole Dion from us.
Well, we won in 94 and 95. So
it
I
was
guess
93.
93, okay. Because we won in 92.
We won in 93. Yeah, because y'all won in 92. We got Dion. We won in 93. Then y'all stole him from us and gave us Ken Norton Jr. And,
Dude, and
y'all went back twice again.
Yeah. And I tell you what, and I know being a Cowboy fan, it was really great. But football in that era was great.
Oh, it was a different game.
It was a totally
man.
different game. I mean, running backs dominated.
Well, running backs dominated this year. Look, what did they do to us?
Yeah, but who won the Super Bowl?
And what did they use? They used their running backs too.
Well,
they realized we got there because of our running backs.
Yeah, but who was the MVP of Super Bowl?
Oh yeah.
I mean, you can say running backs.
Come on.
Running backs no longer dominate the game.
That dude is he's in a realm of his own.
Oh,
he's
dude,
in a realm.
They
of
were
his
talking about possible contracts, and I was listening.
His is going to be. He's going to be the first $1 billion football player.
They said I was listening to Shannon Sharp, and he was saying $250.
Yeah,
his next contract's going to be a 5-year deal for $250.
Easy.
And I'll tell you what, we don't normally get off on a lot of rants about football, but I'll tell you this: Dak is in a bad situation.
Dak is good for the Cowboys, but if you transplanted both of those quarterbacks and Mahomes went to the Cowboys and Dak.
Please let that happen.
Mahomes would have taken the Cowboys, and it would be. The thing is, he is in a realm.
Yeah, he's above.
It's totally separate. And then the things that this young man can do with that ball.
Yeah,
and
no
with his mind,
no matter what position he's in.
I used to when I coached high school ball in St. Louis. I was the backs and receivers coach. And I used to train my quarterbacks and my receivers to always be aware. Even though he's not looking at you, be ready for the ball. And I used to tell my quarterback, Rob, who actually went pro as a receiver, though, but I used to tell him, you need to be able to throw and not look at the person.
And who does that?
Nobody now, but
Mahomes.
now
Mahomes.
yes, and you saw and how it affects a defense because you're taught as a linebacker and a cornerback to do what? Follow his eyes.
Right.
And well, if I'm looking at Rob and I throw to a person over here to my right that I wasn't looking at, and it's not just I threw it out there because he should be there. It's dead on. It's on the money. It's a spiral. It hits him dead in his chest.
Dude,
Who does this?
I've seen him throw a left-handed
That's what
pass.
I was getting ready to go to. You're forcing him to the right, and he realizes he can't throw from the right to the person that's to his left, so he switched his hand.
Right. I mean, he's done some crazy. He takes athleticism to the quarterback position to a whole new level.
A different skill set.
Now going back to Dak though, he's in a bad position because he's already franchised for $35 million.
Yep.
He doesn't have a lot to bargain with.
Nope.
And the Cowboys have the option to franchise tag him next year.
Yep.
Again.
And he will get it next year again.
And so
the only thing that will change that is if he takes your team to the Super Bowl and wins it.
And then we're not going to be able to afford him.
Yeah. It has to be won.
Right. So here's the thing on that though. Knowing that we're going to pay him $35 million and we've already offered him $35 million and he turned it down. Mm-hmm. Okay, we'll pay you $35, and if you don't perform, we're done.
Bye.
Yeah,
we've already got your replacement signed.
Right.
We've already got him signed.
I'm going to tell you this right now. I would rescind the offer. I wouldn't even franchise him. I would go with the quarterback they brought in, and I don't even remember his name.
Andy Dalton.
So Dalton, and let me tell you why. First of all, I'm paying Andy Dalton $3 million.
Tell the truth,
dude. Because here's the thing: what did the Cowboys do last year? They were 8-8.
My thing is
8-8.
Looking at what Mahomes did, looking at what other guys do. I mean, you can go with what's the name in Baltimore.
His contract is going to be crazy.
Looking at what these guys are doing in the league now, and what you're doing. When Dallas offered me that contract, I'd have signed with a feather and dumped it in some ink.
Well, here's what
it'd have been so fast.
But you know what I think is the problem? I think Dak's agent is saying, you know what's about to happen is these guys are fixing to be in the $45 to $50 million range. So don't cut yourself short now. But here's the thing:
you got to have.
You're
that
not
skill
in
set.
their position.
Yeah, you don't have that skill set. You don't.
You took the Cowboys to the playoffs twice, but last year you finished 8-8. We gave you the players. We signed the best running back in football for you.
But see, the thing is,
we have a top 5 wide receiver for you. We have probably a top 5 offensive line for you.
It comes down to,
but we didn't have a coach for you.
Yeah, I haven't had a coach since he pushed Tuna out the door.
No. We haven't had a coach since Jimmy Johnson left.
Jimmy Johnson. But see, the thing with Jimmy Johnson, he didn't kowtow to him.
Right. So even Parcells did.
Yeah, and Parcells was the coach, but he didn't stand.
Right.
He didn't stand, and that's what cost him.
But Jimmy Johnson, that's why he got fired,
Yeah,
was because he wouldn't fold.
Oh, yeah. It
was his team,
yes.
and I'm going to win the Super Bowl for you. You sit down and shut up, Jerry.
And this is the thing
You just
about
sign
it.
the check.
He showed that it was just his team because they put Switzer in there.
Right.
And Switzer didn't coach. They won without Switzer. But anyway, let's get off
All right. Let's get on to the straight cut.
Yes, sir.
You guys, if you haven't checked these guys out, they're good friends of ours. They do a great show. They are out of the West End Cigar Lounge. Fantastic lounge. Arron actually works there.
Yep.
And so you definitely want to go by and check out their podcast. You can find them on Spotify. You can find them on iTunes. But we've got them coming up next, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Hey guys, thanks for hanging through the break. We have two special guests, good friends of mine, one of my favorite cigar shows that I listen to. We have Arron and Mark from The Straight Cut. If you haven't checked them out, you're definitely going to want to go by. Check out their show. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of these two guys, so let's get them onto the show. How you doing today, Arron and Mark?
I'm doing good over here. Doing good, Rob. Good to hear your voice.
Well, you make me feel special. Thank you, Mark. So let's go back in time. I mean, you guys have been doing the show now for over a year, right?
Yeah, we just had episode 60, I believe, just came out. Our full episode. We do little half episodes. We started doing a couple months ago. So total, we've done like 65 or so. But yeah, we've been around since April, May of 2019. We've been around for a little over a year and a couple months.
I got you. So, for you guys that don't know, I actually met Arron from Instagram. He's known as the Viking. And so actually when we started Cigar Talk, and I guess really at the time it was just me because Bryant hadn't come on the show yet. And so we had been talking and, he was letting me know that he was listening to Cigar Talk and he was giving me feedback because I actually love getting real feedback. And with Arron, you don't get, hey, you did a great job. You get, hey, you should definitely work on this and you should work on this. So I appreciated that from Arron, and that's how we kind of became friends. And then he told me he was starting a podcast because he really loved everything that I do. And so no, I'm just kidding you there on that. No, he told me they were starting a podcast. And I, of course I was like, hey man, you guys need any help at all, feel free to reach out because that's how the cigar community is. We're here to help each other. It's not like a competition. And I mean, I know there's a lot of cigar shows out there, but it's not like there's, as many cigar shows as there are TV shows, which would be in competition. But I mean, I listened to about 4 or 5 different cigar shows, and you guys are one of them. So, I mean, I listen to a lot of other podcasts that are not cigar shows, so there's plenty of time to listen to other shows. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And we're the same way. So, yeah, I found you. So with my work, I'm a carpenter, so I'm always have my headphones in just to get noise away in our shop and everything. And I just got tired of listening to music one day. So I was like, you know what? I want to listen to another podcast. So I was like, I work at a cigar lounge. Let me see what's out there in cigar wise. And I found you, and I think you were on like episode 3 or 4. I mean, it was very early.
That was when it was rough.
Yeah. I mean, it was, I mean, it's the total, the opposite end of the pendulum of what you are right now. But I think I listened to all of them. That one afternoon, I found you on Instagram. And I just reached out. I was like, hey, I like your show. I work at a cigar lounge, blah, blah, blah. And I said, like, me and my buddy who worked here at the same time too, my old partner, like we've been wanting to do a cigar show or podcast for at least a year we talked. But yeah, we, I've always said like the Straight Cut is around because, Cigar Talk and you helped, get us off the ground. You answered every question that I needed answered, got me in touch with, the kind of equipment I need, do the editing, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I mean, the Straight Cut honestly wouldn't be around without your help. So, I mean, I know you were jokingly saying that, but honestly, it's pretty true.
I was happy to do it because, you had given me a lot of good feedback, which was very helpful. And so, but it's a brother, the cigar community, we're all brothers and sisters, and that's what we're here for. So if I can help anybody, I will. So let's talk about you started the show with Steve. Now, how long was Steve on the show?
Yeah, so Steve was here for at least half the episodes, about 6 months. And I worked with Steve for 4 years at West End Cigars up here in Little Rock, and he was the manager. Good friend of ours, both me and Mark, and still is. But he ended up getting an opportunity to become a sales rep for Ashton. You got to take that because Ashton
sell out. I'm just kidding.
Or as some of our listeners say, traitor.
There you go.
But no, I mean, when he left, I wasn't sure what was going to go with the show. I've known Mark, as long as both of us have been coming to West End.
Oh, I did not realize you know each other that long.
Oh yeah, when we're both some of the OGs of the shop. The shop's been open going on 6 years now, and we've been here pretty much since day one. And so I wasn't sure what was going to happen with the show. I had plenty of people come up to me and say, hey, I heard you're looking for a partner, but, I wasn't looking for a yes man. I was looking for somebody who I could actually have disagreements with on the air.
I thought you were looking for a yes woman.
Yeah, no, I'm not looking for that either. But no, so then actually, Brandon, the owner of the shop, came up to me and he was like, hey, have you thought about Mark? And I was like, yeah, that'd be cool, but knowing what Mark does.
But he's so old.
Yeah, I'm very old.
Well, so and that was grumpy. And that was one of the things that I had to take into account because both me and Steve, we were in the younger demographic of cigar smokers, but 12. But we had a voice, we had a different outlook because we were both certified retail tobacconists at a shop, and then Mark, he used to own a shop. So I was like, man, that's almost like it was almost too easy of a transition because now the show has a different perspective as somebody in the older demographic that can, give them a little insight to what the cigar community is and not just two viewpoints of the younger demographic.
Well, I'll tell you this. I think it adds a really good dynamic to the show. I love the age difference and the different perspective that you guys have. And I think it really, I'm not knocking Steve in any way, so don't take it that way. I just think it adds a new dimension that you didn't have before.
It does, and we didn't have to change the show very much at all. Because one of the things that we say, our show is 40% cigar, 60% BS. And honestly, nothing really changed about that. We tweaked and fine-tuned a few things, but all for the good. Not saying that anything was bad beforehand. It was just like every episode, there's always room for improvement. So now we just taken that next step.
Well, I was going to question your numbers. You said 40% cigars and 60% BS. I'm thinking 20% cigars.
Some shows, it's definitely like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of shows that are like that. I tell you, one of the things that I enjoy about Rob is that you do such a great job interviewing. And you talk about those early episodes. I was listening from early on as well. But as we all get better at the craft. One of the things we don't do is, we don't do as much cigar stuff. We do a lot of cigar stuff, but we bring a different angle at it. You do such a great job. I love the interviews. I've learned so much from, especially your boutique interviews with people that I wouldn't have access to. I love that. That's fabulous. I love that. We come from a B&M point of view. We talk to people that are different within the industry. So, that's where, when you talk about all the podcasts that are within the cigar area, that's our different angle. And Arron and I do argue all the time, both on the podcast and off. and the reason is because we have different views of the world. And there is a difference between being a tobacconist and working in the shop and owning the shop. And some of the early episodes, we talked a lot about, like I talked about the finances of how a shop's structured and all that stuff. And, I thought it created interesting discussions, but we also can get silly and all those things as well.
Yeah. So. We've always said, there's plenty of shows out there like yours, for example. If you want that deep interview with a roller or with a blender or whatever like that, Cigar Talk is where you go. Me and Steve started the straight cut, for one, because we were just going to give it to everybody straight. There's no pulling punches, but we also, since we both worked at a lounge, we wanted to be like, you just set a mic up in a lounge, push record, because there's plenty of people that don't have access to cigar lounges. So we want to kind of give them that vibe and that experience to, if you're in the middle of, Wyoming and you don't have access to a cigar lounge, but you're a cigar guy or girl, you now have that avenue to get that, audio.
So let me ask you this. No, go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, I wanted to call out in particular the interview you did with Jesus from Martinez Cigars, which I thought was particularly good. And if you have, that's the one I was listening to today. We've been smoking some of those cigars this week, and how much we're enjoying those. But that was a particularly good example of a boutique cigar that is rising, and we're excited about talking about. But I love the interview.
Hey, it's
That's
funny
something
that you
do
say that.
We don't do.
It's funny that you say that because that's what I was smoking on the first half of the show was a flat iron from Martinez. Now, have you guys had the flat iron yet?
We have not, but we're going. So we have some, but we are going to do that for one of our reviews, because that is one thing we have started doing the past 4 or 5 months. Is, I reach out to our listeners and I always ask, like, what do you want to hear? What do you want content wise from us? And some people were saying, we like how you talk about the cigars, so do more of that, like review wise. So we just like, you know what, that's fair. So we now just do kind of half episodes where we just strictly geek out on cigars. But the one thing that we try to do is that we do it on a cigar that neither one of us have had.
Yeah,
so we
I like
go in
that.
totally blind. And so we actually have the flat iron, and we're going to do that probably this month or next month.
Great.
Set that up. So
you're going to
we're going to
enjoy
do
it.
that one just totally blind. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have had the 45 last week, and I was like, wow, this is amazing.
Yeah, I like to consider the Martinez line of cigars like the hidden gem that nobody knows about. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And you know how like there's like these guys that go out looking for new bourbons that nobody's heard of, and they're usually like cheap and they just jump on it. And then when everybody finds out about it, it's like, okay, now I'm moving on to find the next treasure that nobody knows about.
Yeah. And Mark and we're both boutique nut. I mean, I love boutique cigars. The big boys in the industry, you got your General, Altadas, all that kind of stuff. It has their place, But for me, I like Viaje, Tatuaje, which is, arguably getting it bigger. But I like the boutique personally, just my favorite. So seeing ones like Martinez, which I've only had one, and what I had was really, really good. I can't wait to smoke some more.
If you're not finding cigar to smoke, boutique cigar. This is my new catchphrase.
Yeah.
In this golden age of boutique cigars, shame on you. This is the golden age of boutique cigars.
It really
There's
is.
so many great ones.
And I'll tell you what, man, I have been all over the Aladino line for about the last week. Holy crap, they make good cigars too.
Yeah, I've been seeing all your posts and everything, and
Yeah.
Dude,
I'm
man.
fixing that problem. I have not had one. I'm fixing that problem.
oh, I've had quite a few. Yeah.
In fact, earlier in the show,
I really like them. Yeah.
when we do our weekly top 6 cigars, Bryant gives his 3 and I give my 3. All 3 of my week cigars were Aladinos. I had the Connecticut, I had the Corojo Reserva, and then I also had the brand new Cameroon, and they were just so freaking good. I was like, you know what? It's an Aladino week.
So is that what you're smoking right now?
No, I'm actually smoking an OM cigar. We actually had Oswald on earlier, and this is a boutique cigar out of New Jersey. And I tell you what, man, it's a really nice cigar. I've posted some pictures on my Instagram, but the presentation is fantastic, and every smoke I've smoked has been fantastic. It's one of those cigars. It's also a hidden gem that nobody knows about, and the presentation is beautiful. It's a dark, oily wrapper. It's got a dark blue band with a copper orange labeling on it. Beautiful presentation, which, I'm not that big on presentation. I mean, if it's nice, I recognize that, but mine is, I pull the band off, and how does that cigar look now? And this cigar stands on its own without a band. You know what I mean?
Oh,
so
yeah, I was
going to say, what are you guys smoking?
So I'm doing a Liga number 9 Bellicoso right now.
Such a Liga.
I'm a Liga fan.
He's a Liga fan.
I have a Liga Humidor, which at one point Mark had at one time also. So.
Right. We swapped humidors. I don't even know what to say about that, but we've swapped humidors a couple times.
Who came out ahead on the swap?
I think I probably did. San Andreas. I got the new air from him. He got a second.
Yeah,
new
so
air.
pretty much I had another new air. So it was, I gave him another new air, and then I got his big Liga Privada.
Oh, nice.
Desk one. So.
Yeah, although I think actually the Liga Privada was actually worth more because it was rare.
Yeah, there's only like 15 ever made.
Wow.
Right? And I won that, and I took it home, and my wife almost got divorced that night. She goes, because I win a lot of humidors at West End Cigars here in Little Rock, and she is tired of that, and so I sold it to my friend Arron. So I'm smoking a Christoph San Andreas.
Oh, good smoke.
And I'm enjoying the heck out of it.
Yeah.
I'm a big Christoph fan. I have been for We sold them heavily in the cigar shop that I own in Springfield, Illinois, and I really like that. I've been grooving on the JT Signature.
Oh man, that JT Signature is fantastic.
Yeah, we had Jared Trudeau on our show, and it was by far one of our best. I wouldn't say if it was one of our best shows, but it was our funnest show by far.
Yeah,
we recorded for almost 4 hours, and somehow we had to get that down to at least 2 hours, just because. Yeah, I mean, we just talked. That was like a 3 cigar episode.
Wow.
It was ridiculous because there was just no good place to stop. But
he's a funny guy.
Yeah, but he had just come out with that cigar. We had a big event up here.
That's a creamy,
and it was just like, wow.
So I'm a big Christoph fan. I like the Ligas. I'm not nearly as big a fan as you are. I'm a Tatuaje fan, but I like the San Andreas. So in particular, and I just walked in here. It was in my locker, so I went. I missed that.
Well,
I missed my locker.
Let me ask you guys a question. So you have the guy who works at a cigar shop. You have a guy who owned a cigar shop. You have one guy now, Arron. I could be mistaken, but I think you're in the neighborhood of about 37 years old.
I'm actually going to be 36 on July 4th.
Okay, so you're 35 for now, and then Mark, he's 72. So, you know,
yes, 73 on July 7th.
How old are you actually, Mark? I know you're about 52.
53.
53. Okay.
Yep.
So my question is though, like, which one of you on a regular basis buys the more expensive cigars?
Oh, that's a good question.
I don't know. That might be a wash. Honestly.
Really? See, I was going to guess it was going to be Arron, because when you get to be older, you look for value.
I'm going to say I probably buy the more expensive now, but Mark bought the more expensive then because his collection of older, like, say, the Fuente and Añejos and Lost Cities and stuff like that is a lot more vast than my collection right now.
Gotcha.
But like maybe of like the more expensive ones, I probably buy now.
I just bought a Davidoff Royal.
Yeah, I bought a couple Davidoff
A
Royals.
couple of
Wow.
Year of the whatevers. A couple. We just bought 5 cigars that had to be $250 total.
Yeah.
So
I'm sure
don't let your wife hear this episode.
Oh, she has to know that.
So I mean, she's
a cigar smoker.
Yeah, she's my wife's a cigar smoker.
Mark's wife is a cigar smoker. That's awesome.
Mine
Used to, but she now has asthma. Or she has runner's asthma, so she doesn't. She used to. When we at the cigar shop, we would on Friday nights after we closed, we'd sit in the back and she'd smoke a cigar, but she doesn't anymore. But Aaron's wife and I and Arron have smoked a lot of cigars.
Yeah. Me and my wife, we sit out on our balcony at our condo every night, and we have at least one cigar. And she has her own humidor at the house, so I got I'm lucky in a lot of ways, and that's just one extra one in the lucky column.
All it takes. My wife takes my cigar smoking with a grain of salt. I don't party and do a lot of things, and so she puts up with it. Although the humidor thing is,
it's getting a little out of hand.
It's she doesn't.
She says you're a hoarder now.
She does, and for the record, that might actually be true. So it's kind of hard. I have 9 humidors probably at home, of which 5 of them are full.
How many of those are just put up?
So 4 of those are just like smaller ones that I've had. I have 3, probably 250 counts. I have 2, probably 400 to 500 counts. Like in table ones, the New Air one, and one about the same size as the New Air. Yeah, I have a whole humidor full of Arturo Fuente and Añejos that I've collected over the years.
Wow.
I'm a huge Añejo fan, going back probably 15 years. Yeah. You come up and visit me, trust me, we will smoke good cigars.
We are going to make that happen. I don't know exactly when, but the West End has been on my radar forever. We actually had a trip planned there, and I had some troubles, but anyway, that didn't happen. But definitely want to get up there, man. I tell people all the time about West End just because I have never been there, but the shop itself has been really good to me. I know they're good people, even though that Arron works there. I think that they are just solid. In
spite of me working here.
In spite of Arron being there. But, you guys sent me an ashtray, which is the ashtray that I'm actually using right now. It's my go-to recording ashtray because it's a 4-finger ashtray. It looks like it's probably about a 7x7, and it's just perfect for me being by myself. And that's the ashtray I always set up when I'm recording. So I know you guys are great people just because how much love you guys have showed Cigar Talk. So I want to say thank you to that. So let me ask you this. How long have you guys been smoking cigars? Let's start with Arron. How far back does it go, your passion about cigars? How did you get started?
So I bought my first cigar when I was 16. I know people can't see me, but I have a fairly large beard, if you want to.
Let me tell you guys, if you saw Arron on the street, you would think he was like in a band, like with Metallica.
Yeah. I always say, like, I look like a grizzly bear, but I'm actually a teddy bear. I've always been big. I've always had like a beard. I had a full beard in high school. So I bought my first one at 16 just because, that's the rebel thing to do when you're here in Little Rock, Arkansas. There's not really anything else to do. But I've been a full-time, I finally got into it probably around 03, probably 02, 03, 04, somewhere around there. So about, 17 years probably that I've actually been a full-fledged, cigar smoker.
All right. And Mark, how long have you been smoking cigars? How did you get into it?
So probably early 90s. So 25 plus years. I was hanging around with a bunch of people when Paula and I actually met, and we went out to Vegas. And as part of that, we bought cigars. The group of 6 of us, we bought cigars, and I bought some Custoray 898s, and we all smoked out there because we were trying to be hipsters and trying to be hipsters before hipsters were around. Right, I was hipster before hipster was cool, Mr. Hipster. And yeah, exactly. And the other 5 guys hated it, and I didn't. And so I came back home and I smoked on my porch for a long time, and then found a local cigar shop, and which eventually I bought. So
nice.
I've smoked for a long time. I've enjoyed cigar smoking, and the cigar lounge environment to me is very important. I went in with a couple other guys to buy a cigar lounge in Springfield, Illinois, because I believe that in the lounge community that much. It's important to me that friends you make here are friends you don't really have access to in the rest of the world at large. You know, in Springfield, there was heart surgeons and eye surgeons and day workers and people that I wouldn't run into. I'm a IT project manager. And I made some great friends that I hold dear to my heart still today that aren't people that I would have met. Rob, you and I wouldn't have known each other if it wasn't for cigars and cigar lounges. And those are the kind of relationships that are pretty awesome. I don't want to, those are the relationships I don't want to ever give up. So, Arron and I wouldn't have crossed paths ever. I can't imagine, because we just wouldn't have. And now he's, one of the close friends I have. Him and I have a ton of things in common, and it's crazy because he does look like a Viking. He's one of the most sensitive guys you'd ever meet. One of the most passionate guys about people that you'd ever meet. And if you've heard our show, you've heard me cry numerous times on our show. He is very sensitive.
I was going to ask, a while back, and I never did reach out to you, but I was going to ask, maybe y'all should change the name of the show from The Straight Cut to The Crying Game.
The Crying Game. I'll put that. We'll run that through the Rolodex. Yeah, we'll test that. I think that might be taken, but I'll check. Yeah, that first episode. When I was on, we started that. That was something I guess you and I have that you and Steve did. Yeah. Steve never cried. Shame on him. That's why he's just great. So we did, and we have cried a couple times. We've laughed way more than we've cried, and we certainly talked cigars more than we've done either way.
Well, not to try to be manly on top of what you've said, but I just want to make it known now that neither Bryant nor myself have cried on Cigar Talk.
Sure. Well, that's because we haven't worked at making you cry yet. Yeah. We'll just have to work at that.
So what do you guys have going forward with Straight Cut? I mean, what are the plans? I know right now I heard you guys are building a studio at West End. I think that's amazing. I mean, what do you guys got going on?
Yeah, so we have so West End has grown. We now have our second location in another city in Arkansas, in about 20 miles north of Little Rock in a really big suburban area of Little Rock. And it's a standalone shop. So we were able to have room to build our own studio. Brandon, the owner of Weston, has been, one of the, if not the biggest supporter of the show from day one. He is, Weston is our main sponsor. So he was gracious enough to give us, there's a back room in the lounge that was literally just a back room. There was nothing in it. And he was like, why don't we make this into the studio? I'm like, all right, yeah, let's do that. So we got that going, and we want it to make we want it to be a destination. We've said it from the very beginning. There's cigar shows out there like yours that do really, really good with the interviews. And that's not our show. That's not our niche. But we want to be able to have people who listen to us. We want to hear their voice because this is first and foremost, our show is, lounge centered. So we like hearing, we just had the very first person to find our show when me and Steve started, a year and whatever so ago. We did a trade with him. We just had him on our show last week. So that was the first one we're going to do, or first one we did, but it's not the last by far. We want to reach out to more of our listeners and have them on our show who know us, personally just through, the podcast itself. So that's one avenue we're doing. And then, we're just always trying to get better. That's the main thing.
Right.
There's always room for improvement. I love the technical audio, I've joked it with you. Like, I love editing. I love, sitting down.
Yeah, I know you've said that before and I still don't believe you.
No, I do. Because at one point,
I know
at one point in life, I was, yeah.
But I say that just because editing is at the very bottom of my fun level for Cigar Talk. And
yeah, at one point in life, I wanted to be a sound engineer, work with music and work with bands because, I've always been a music guy, and that, dreams, if everybody had their dream, then nobody would make money.
Right. Sure. But
this gives me have the avenue of do that.
So also you guys just got a new soundboard.
Yeah, we did. That's one of the reasons why we're able to have the people who listen to us, we can now hear them.
Right.
So that's
I bring this up, Arron, because I know you're chomping at the bit to give us a little sound feature.
Oh, you want that?
Yeah, go ahead and lay one on us.
What you want? You want like a?
So see, I told him we weren't going to do that, but I wanted to make Arron happy and let him have one chance to do something.
I need to so it's all there's 8 hotkeys. I just need to record my voice, talking some trash about, my love for the Chiefs or whatever.
There you go.
Or just
a cigar lighter or a cutter or something that was actually on topic for what we record.
But like we said, the hotkeys are going to be part of the 60% BS line of our show.
Hey, man, I like it. I have effects on my board as well, and I used them once. And then, the next week, we did a whole episode. And after the end of the episode, I got ready to edit it. And what I didn't know was the effects was on the entire show, and there was no way. Yeah, there was no way to edit it. So my voice sounded like an alien the entire show. So we had to scrap it. So now we do no special effects.
Yeah,
that's a good lesson. I feel like Rob just gave us a little nugget right there.
No, I keep the board in front of me, so I'm I can see that whole side of the board is turned off just because.
Yeah. Let me tell you, when I put it in and I started editing and I heard the first "Welcome to Cigar Talk" or whatever, I was like, "Oh crap!" And I was
I know on the Discord that you have that we're on all the time, you uploaded one of your first early episodes, and I loved hearing that stuff because that made me go back to listen to one of me and Steve's episodes that we didn't release when we were just testing out everything, seeing our cadence and our flow. And it's just wow, we were so raw and just
isn't it crazy when you go back and listen? You're like, wow, we really sucked. Or at least that's what I said when I listened to one of my very first episodes. And that's one of the things that's why I'm always willing to help other people avoid the mistakes that I made. And because if I could go back and start over and have the knowledge of what I've learned by trial and error, I mean, because I'm not an audio engineer by any means. And so if I could take what I learned and start over, it would be so much easier. So if there's podcasters out there or people who are interested in podcasting, you know, I'm always happy to help them and say, hey, avoid this, avoid that. This is what you don't want to do. And you'll be miles ahead of where I am.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like we have a guy who listens to our show who's a local, and he is starting his own, all based off wine. And he was asking me questions. I was like, man, whatever you got question wise, I'll definitely help you, because it, you know, going back to like whenever every question that I had, you know, I ran through you and got an answer. I mean, hell, I even asked you a question like this past week on something and you gave me an answer. So there's always, I'm still always.
Yeah.
learning.
You know, what's funny about that is Mark is he asked me a question. I gave him an answer and then he went the other way.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Welcome to my world, Rob.
So gang up on Arron?
Yeah.
No.
Actually,
I just thought that was funny. It's like I asked Rob his advice and then I didn't do it, which is what Brian does every week.
we call those people assholes.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes.
No, I think it's important to be able to reach out and ask people, and whether it be podcasting, cigars, or whatever it is that you're interested in, and just have people that you know and trust to get their opinion. That doesn't mean that I'm always going to act on that, but at least I have that relationship that I can rely on other people.
Yeah, especially as somebody like yourself who can explain why and what they were thinking, because that's very helpful from a point of view of helping me shape my thinking. Mm-hmm. So even if we don't necessarily follow lockstep with what you're saying, you can help shape what I'm thinking. So podcasting's hard. I think people think this is really easy. Yeah. There's a lot involved in the thought process.
Yeah. And I mean, and with our shows, you know, your show and our show, it's a very grassroots operation because it's a very niche centered, communication piece. It's, you know, podcasting is growing up and huge, but cigars in general are not that big outside of the cigar people in general. So
absolutely,
it's a very niche audience.
So let me ask you this. Do you have any history or experience in recording or broadcasting, Mark?
I do not. And I was really super self-conscious. Arron will tell you the story. The first episode, I'm a confident speaker. I speak for a living. You know, I deal with customers and walking into a room where people don't know me. The first episode that I recorded, we practiced with telling my story. So the first episode you hear, I was mortified. And Marielle, who's Aaron's wife, was the first one to listen, and I was terrified. And still am super self-conscious about people hearing my voice. You and I herp together on most Saturday nights during this COVID thing, and I'm not shy about talking or stating my opinion or being full of, whatever. And I'm fine with that. I can be wrong just like the next guy, but this is permanent in the way that made me nervous. And I didn't have any experience with that. And I was terrified.
Well, I'll tell you what, I think you're doing a great job. I'm just saying.
Yeah. I mean, he's been great. He's been a great co-host and great addition to the show.
Yeah. And, I think Mark doesn't speak without having intent. And I appreciate that.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome.
It's still to today when we talk about it. It's still nerve-wracking. And you and I have talked about a lot of stuff, and I know it's a challenge. So I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome. So, and that's something that I want to talk about because, we have a lot of people, listeners, and that join up with us on Saturday night herfs. And, that's something that has just become part of my normal life now. It's like you can't go to the shop, or we couldn't. Mm-hmm. But now, even that you can go back to the shops, it's like I've developed these great relationships with people all over the country that I normally would not be able to hang out with and smoke. So I'm loving the herf, and I think it's an opportunity to connect with people and build relationships. I'm completely shocked at how strong of a relationship you could build through these online herfs.
It's amazing. You think about it, you and I sat on the phone last night with Adam from Massachusetts, and we talked about that he had lost someone close to him, and that mattered to you and I. And we were talking to Schmidt from Australia, and we were talking to people from California. I noted that Orlando wasn't on last night. And we have all these people that you and I have connected to over a relatively short period of time, a couple months. And they are cool, John, Elaine, cool people who we like. I'll speak for myself, but I like immensely. Funny. They feel like brothers and sisters. And it's amazing. I have a Herf Friday night with the luxury people. And then on Saturday, your Herf, those feel like, I don't want to be too over dramatic about this, but they feel like brothers.
I was going to say, don't try to make me cry. It's not happening, Mark.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
This is why we cry on our show.
I want to reduce the list to just Bryant. But I mean, they feel like friends. And, Saturday nights before COVID, I would gather back here with Arron and my buddies from the shop, and we would sit and talk about the world and the good world or baseball or COVID or whatever. We'd talk about stuff. And it was a place for me to just got me through some staying at home time that I don't like much.
Yeah, absolutely. And I tell you what, doing the first one, I was just kind of like, I don't really know how this is going to work out. But after the first one, I started getting tons of emails. Hey, are you going to do another one? And I really hadn't planned on doing this every week. And then it just turned out of, if I don't do it, I mean, I'm taking away an opportunity to hang out with good friends. So we haven't skipped a night since it started. And I mean, how many weeks has it been? Probably about 9?
Yeah, it feels like 9.
Yeah, going on at least 3 months.
And last night was a pretty short night because I was on to maybe 2:30 with the guys from Chicago. I know the previous week it was like 4 or 5:30. I wasn't that late because I'm an old man, as we've discussed. But I cruise off like 2:30 in the morning. My wife always checks on me. The first night that I drank, I actually fell and hurt my knee between my garage where I smoked and my bed, which is seriously like 30 feet. And so it's always a good time. And we laugh and we listen to music, we talk about sometimes important stuff, and then sometimes we talk about
crazy stuff that can't be repeated on my show.
No, nor ours.
So what are you guys coming up?
That's usually what we say.
I know you guys record tomorrow, and you release your episodes every Friday morning. So what do y'all got coming up this coming week?
So this next week is we're going to record with Deanne Robinson, who's a local cigar smoker. We're going to talk about women smokers in the lounge. She's a cool story because Arron and I met her here. We had one of those cigar tastings, and it was one of those where there was 4 different leaves, wrappers on the cigar, and she walked in never having smoked a cigar, and she smoked a cigar because she wanted to give it a try. She's probably your age, Arron? I don't know, between our ages.
Yeah, somewhere in the middle.
And she tried it because she wanted to try something new, and she fell in love with cigars. Now she plays with cards on Thursday night. She comes up, she's become really good friends with Arron and I. Funny, she does like sing telegrams. She tells tons of funny stories. So we're going to talk. One of the areas that we want to get into is talking to some of the lady smokers, and because we think women smokers are becoming less unusual in cigar shops,
right?
And we want to make that more visible because we have Leanne here. We have several women smokers who are funny, but we want to make that more normal by giving them some press and to give them out there and make. To be honest with you, Brothers of the Leaf more comfortable around Sisters of the Leaf. And so we're going to do that at the end. And
I feel like maybe there needs to be a class with the guy cigar smokers on how to have etiquette around women cigar smokers. And what I mean by that is in some instances, it's a unusual event, and some of the guys don't need to know how to act, and I need to educate them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I definitely see it, working at a lounge. With somebody if a female comes in that we don't know, you can definitely see some of the guys' heads turn. And then when she walks in the humidor, I have to snap back at them. I'm like, stop.
Yeah. Right.
I'm like, don't make it weird.
We didn't have an alien just walk in. So just chill out. Yeah. It's another cigar smoker.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what I like is since my wife is a cigar smoker and she'll come up here and she hangs out all the time, and she's still a very strong, independent female, but she is like a guy because she will give it right back like nothing else. And it's and just seeing the look of fear on some of the guys' face whenever she starts talking and just BSing back to it. I'm like, oh, you don't know what you just started.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
you know,
Paul is the same way.
and that's how it is at our lounge. We have a regular female cigar smoker named Deborah. And I mean, when a woman becomes part of the cigar community, it's awesome because there is not that male and female aspect of it. It's just hanging out with your cigar brother or sister. You know what I mean? So it is different whenever you have a new female come in because people don't know her. But if she is someone who hangs out at the lounge and everybody gets to know, it's really no different.
Yeah. I've seen Dee shut guys down in a totally hilarious way. And people get nervous because we have several cigar smokers here. We have a really girly girl, like I think Ray, who dresses very feminine and all that. But, just like guys, there's a lot of different types of women smokers. But the fact is, you need to treat them with respect, just like you need to treat everybody with respect who walks in here.
Absolutely.
And just not be weird.
Yeah. And what I love is like Dee is, she's a very good card player too. And we played cards up here on Thursday. Well, we did until all the stuff happened. Yeah. But what's funny is like, I always know whenever she just like ruined the table because she'll start laughing and cackling so bad. I'm like, oh, somebody just got ruined by Dee over there on the table.
She's got this huge
and it's just so funny because the guys get just so mad and pissed. Yeah. But it's like, Dee is a good card player and she's going to just like clean you out.
She plays a lot of hands, and then she'll beat you with something she shouldn't have beat you with, and then she laughs in this great
and you know what's so funny is I am completely 100% all about women being cigar smokers, but I do have a problem with women playing cards, and here's the reason. They're so difficult for me to beat. I mean, whether they're brand new or they've been playing for years, I suck at playing against women.
So Paula and I would go out in Vegas early on, and Paula would sit at the table and she'd wear a low cut blouse, and guys would get so flustered. And I taught Paula to play cards because I played since I was a kid, and I taught her to play super aggressive. And you would almost see guys couldn't read her because they would get flustered, and she would be up in their face just playing a lot of hands and pushing them, and it was almost like guys would wet their pants.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. I'm one of those guys. It's like, and I admit it right up. I don't want to play cards with women because they take my money. So, well, hey, man, it sounds like you guys got a great show lined up. I'm definitely going to check it out. I'm excited to hear her story. And I appreciate you guys taking the time and joining us on our show. And we got to get together in person whenever all this blows over and we can actually make it happen. Looking forward to smoking a cigar with you, Mark, and been trying to do that with Arron forever. But thank you guys for coming on the show. And I want to really, really encourage each of you to at least check out the Straight Cut. I think you guys are entertaining. I love the perspective of a once cigar shop owner and a tobacconist that works at a shop now, and you guys have a podcast. It's a great show. It's great entertainment, and it's, I enjoy it. It's one of my go-to shows. So you guys definitely need to check out the Straight Cut. They're on I listen to them on Spotify, but they're also on Apple Podcasts. Tell them everywhere else they can find you guys.
Yeah, we're on Stitcher, Castbox, Spotify, iTunes. Anywhere where you can get podcasts, we're at. And with the way we format our show is that we smoke one cigar during the episodes, and so you can then get. And the cigar comes out of our lounge, so then people here in Little Rock can smoke that same cigar.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
So like every episode, it's like an hour and a half. We do long episodes, just because that's how long however long the cigar is. Because we break it down into thirds and all that kind of stuff.
You know what's funny is my show is usually only about an hour. Me and Bryant start, and then I smoke a cigar, and then I do an interview separately, so I smoke another cigar, and then me and Bryant do an after, and I smoke another cigar. So for every show is 3 to 4 cigars.
3 cigars, yeah. We've had a few like that. We definitely smoke cigars that are a little bit out of our wheelhouse on at least for me on size wise, just because nobody's going to want to listen to a show that's I smoke a lot of like cheap Coronas and stuff like that, but nobody really wants to. You can't really dive into a podcast in 20 minutes.
Right.
So we do some longer stuff, but yeah, we come out every Friday morning at 6 a.m. Pacific time. So across the board, pretty early in the morning.
Well, I usually try to check y'all out on Saturday. Fridays is my busy day at work, so usually Saturdays is the day and that's the great thing about podcasts. You can listen to it on your own schedule. So, but hey, man, thank you guys for taking the time to come on the show. Look forward to hanging out with you guys next Saturday on the Herf. And if there's anything you guys ever need from Cigar Talk, we're here for you, brother.
Oh yeah, I appreciate it, and I can't wait to actually meet in person, like we said. I know Dallas is about halfway for us, and there's I know a lot of good shops down in the Dallas
absolutely,
area.
man. I know lots of shops in that area that we can hang out in.
So maybe get down to the Leaf. Maybe we'll make the full trip down to see you.
Yep.
Yeah,
so
we
keep
should
up the good work, Rob.
We should do that sooner than later.
Yes.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
What are y'all doing tomorrow? I'm just messing with you. Just messing with you. Hey guys, well, thanks for coming on the show, and we'll talk to you soon, man.
Keep up the good work.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Later.
Thanks, guys. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed that interview with Mark and Arron. Good friends, good guys. Man, I tell you what, Arron and Steve were on Straight Cut forever. And Steve went on to be, I believe, a rep from Ashton. That's what they said. And so Mark came in. And I really didn't know Steve very well, but I really am getting to like this Mark guy. And I think it's because he's older and wiser like me and you versus two young punks like Arron and Steve.
Especially one Kansas City punk.
Right? So, anyway, guys, we got to get to the Moose Mountain Goods giveaway.
Yes.
Dude, let me tell you what. And I feel bad because we had some Moose Mountain Good coffee from Ethiopia.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going to bring you some of that, and we were going to drink it today. But I ran out.
Why?
Because I drank it all.
Thank you.
But you know what? That's the top of my list. In fact, now, do you have a grinder?
No.
Okay, so if I get you some Ethiopian, you want it ground.
Yeah.
I'm going to get you a bag.
Okay.
And that's going to be my repaying to you that I drank it all. So anyway, let's get on to today's winner. So if you guys haven't gone by the website and registered to win,
it's easy.
All you got to do is go to cigartalkpodcast.com,
Yep.
click on the registration link, and then once you register, you're done. You're in every drawing from now on. Now, if we call out your name, you have a week. You have till Sunday, the following Sunday at 6 p.m. Central, 18 hundo. And you got to send an email with in the subject line, it says Cigar Talk winner. And then just give us your name and address.
That's it.
And we're going to get that coffee sent straight to you. Now, also, the one thing is you need to put on there, you want bean or do you want it ground? Because we'll send it to you either way. So anyway, man, we want to say thank you to Moose Mountain Goods. Go by and check them out. They have great coffee. They've got a blend now, which is awesome. Then they have the choke cherry, which I love, and then they have the Silverton, and they have a new blend.
Mm-hmm.
They have the 1720, which I love. That's the Colombian.
Okay.
But anyway, go by and check them out. If you're a fan of real good coffee, you got to go by and check them out. Anyway, this week's winner is William Ray.
Ray, how you spell that?
Which part?
Ray.
R-A-Y.
Oh, okay.
Like a ray gun.
Yeah, some people spell it R-E-Y, but R-A-Y.
Okay, yeah. William Ray, and you got to have the number 300 in your email address so we know that you're the right William Ray.
Right.
Because we have hundreds of people that have registered, and so we want to make sure that we get the right guy. So, William Ray, congratulations. I hope you love some really great coffee. Make sure you send me that email, and we'll get it out to you, but make sure you put ground or beans, and we will do whichever you prefer. Anyway, guys, I had a special request this week from a good friend. He's part of the cigar community. His name is J.T. Baker. But somebody in the cigar community, his wife has MS. She was diagnosed 9 years ago, and she has to have a surgery, and they're trying to raise money for the family. And so I told them that we would bring it up on the show. You know, that's what the cigar community is all about, is helping each other. And so I will have a link on our webpage. In fact, I'm going to create a new link on our webpage. Just says help the community. And I'm going to post a link so that if you would like to take this opportunity to help another cigar brother that's in need, I think this would be a great thing. I'm definitely going to donate. And they say, you know, to stop the progression of multiple sclerosis, even $1 can help.
That's true.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, if you think about it, if 1,000 people donate $1, that's $1,000.
Yes, sir.
If 1,000 people donate $5, that's $5,000. So if, you know, you want to help out a cigar brother and that is an opportunity that you would like to take advantage of, we'll have it on the website. Just look for helping the cigar community link on our webpage.
Yes, sir.
So we want to put our hearts and thoughts out for that family, and
Most definitely.
I know they're
And
going through
prayers.
a lot. Yeah, and they are also part of the barrel burner community, and so I'll also have a link because they are also taking cigar donations, and they're going to do cigar raffles where people buy tickets and get cigars. So if you want to
Gotcha.
donate, the way to do that, you'll contact Jason over at the Barrel Burners, and I'll have his email address on that same page, so you can go by, and if you want to send a couple of sticks over that way, that's even a big help. So anyway, guys, let's talk about what's coming up next week.
Next week.
We've got Dave Lafferty. Now, if you know Steve Zaka, which I don't know how you don't, this is his number one guy.
Yes, it is.
And he is a great personality. We'll have him on the show, and then we've got a couple other things that's brewing in the mix that we're going to share with you. But that's going to wrap it up this week. You got anything else you want to throw out there?
Nothing, man. Just stay safe, people. Stay safe.
Yeah, stay safe and keep smoking, and send your love and thoughts to Bryant.
Yeah. He just stole my.
I know, right? So, and we'll do it one more time. Until next week.
Keep smoking. Boom.